What's up, YouTube? This is Marcus again from Marvelous Tint here in Folsom, California, and I wanted to show you how to remove the door panel on, let's just say, Z06 Grand Sport. This is a ZR1. I'm sure they're going to be the same. The driver's side is a little bit different from the passenger side, but same principle. So you got this guy here, and then underneath here you have a little trap door right there. Okay, so you take a tool like this. This brand is okay. I've already broken a couple, but you just want to pry that away a little bit. This has the Alcantara interior, so plastic only. In most cases, you want to use plastic only. Take another pry bar in there. Try to pull that away there. Do the same thing here. Using it as a backer. Well, broke that one. There you go. Okay, so the switch is off. You can unplug it or turn it around. There, it's off. The thing that fell on the ground was the other piece to this crappy tool. Still works as a good starter though. Okay, so in here, inside here, you have one 10mm bolt. See it back in there? Yep. Okay, this little trap door deal here. Do the same thing, just kind of start from the corner and pry. It has a little notch in it. If I can get any leverage in here. So this guy being broken already worked out perfectly because it fit into there. I just wedged it into this notch. There's that door off. There's a little notch. Just shoved it in there, pull it away. Just be careful with these things because they do break, and then that exposes another 10mm bolt there. Okay. Underneath here, we have two other T25 Torx. There's one right there, and there's one up in the front right here. So, take those off now. So I already took out the 10mm bolts, and I'm working on the Torx. There's just enough room in here for a screwdriver with the door open to get this one right here. There you go, and as promised, you got two Torx. And you got two 10mm bolts. This little plastic washer right here did the same thing on the other side. So that actually, you want to keep that on there, and it just fits up against where this thing goes in. So now again, all the screws, bolts are out of this thing. It's still on here, pretty sturdy. I mean, it's not coming off. There's a series of clips now, and metal and plastic ones. So I'm going to start by removing the top ones. Okay. I'm going to pry this thing out a little bit. There's a little metal clip right here. There's one. All right, so we're going to start with taking the rest of the door panel off by removing the seal. And I mean, honestly, anytime you're working on an expensive car or any kind of car, you want to protect everything. So show you how to pull again the top seal clips out. So I have this pry bar wedged in here underneath the door panel, which then you can kind of see the teeth of the clips. We're going to pull that out a little bit. You're going to take a hook tool and you're going to reach it in there and just try to grab the top of the clip. and it will break free from it. That one's already out, so never mind that one. Okay. Once you open it up, you can kind of see this. You can see the back side of the clip. You can see that tab right there. So you just want to hook it on the back of that, and it'll just pop right off. So, look at this last one here. There we go. That's all the clips released from the top. Keep the lid pulled away there. Okay. Now the only thing that's still holding it are the clips that go around it. So these are pretty strong. But you can see in here, just go one by one. There's one. Do the next one there. Yank, you know, when you have to. Going down here. All right, as you're pulling it and yanking on it, it's going to sound like you're breaking it. That one reclipped itself. Oh yeah, this was the bitch one on the other side. Okay. Here's the door panel off. Okay, you can see in here, these are the clips that these little yellow things go into. So you're gonna have to, any ones that stayed in there, you're gonna have to remove the whole thing. It's better to do that. And then place this back in here, and then put your pin back in. Put in all this. See, these ones all came out as one unit here, so. Okay, so you got this one here. You're gonna push that back. Push it in. There's that one, this one. Push that in. Got your speaker right here. Got another little tab on top. There's that one, here's the door panel. Okay, so these clips here, I'm gonna pull one out, just kind of give you an example of what you have to do. You gotta separate that from the clip. Okay. You're just gonna pop that out of there, pull that out. You're gonna take this guy where he came out from the door panel. You're just gonna push that back in. You're gonna take this guy and connect it back up, like so. And you're gonna have to do that for all the ones that stayed in or stayed together, okay? All right, so just to recap, for the door panel, once you get all the screws off, you have 9 plastic clips that surround it, okay? Going around in a trim. For the window seal here, you got 6 metal fasteners that clip into the top of the door panel. Okay. All right, so door panel's removed. Yeah. All right, so door panel's removed now. We're going to remove the seal. We're going to pull back this weather stripping here, and then also take off that outside rubber seal. So first thing you want to do is start here. You're just going to take that, break that away. Okay. Right over here, there's another one, so you can reach that in there. And you can break that guy away too. There you go, it's out of your way. On this side here, same kind of thing. You got one here that you can see. Try to wedge underneath it. And then you got this other one right here. And you can see this piece goes in behind there. So when you're putting it back together, it does go behind that seal. Okay, that thing's out of the way now. Your seal, should just pop right out. Ow. There's metal on the end of it, so be careful because it just cut me. Okay, there's that. There's your seal out. Now we're going to need again T15 Torx. You got one screw on either end. Take that out. Now on this side here, you got another one. We'll take that out. This is going to pop right out. Maybe not as easy. Okay, so inside here you got little metal clips. Just bend those down as you go along here and just start pulling this up. Be careful again, I left the tape there. And there it's out. Okay. So these guys, again, they only fit in one way. You can leave those in there. For the next part of this, honestly, we're going to put the seal back in so that when the window rolls up, ultimately exposing the bolts for the mirror, you do have some coverage there. If your windows are tinted, you don't want it to drag along there. So, all right, so like I said, I'm going to put this thing back in here, putting it in. It is only going to fit one way, so when you do put it back in, it does have to be right. You don't want it kind of hanging over the edge. And if you need to make adjustments to how far you can go this way, just pick it up to the last one, and then you can move it. Okay. Pull the window out a little bit as you're coming down here. Okay. Now at least when we roll the window up, it's going to rest on this as opposed to the metal. Okay. All right, so we got the window rolled back up. In order to roll the window back up, we actually had to put the door panel back up here and connect it because ultimately we took the switch off. So just did that, rolled it back up. You just got to plug these two back in. And we have the speaker now to take off. So it's got 4 7mm, let's say, bolts or screws in it. And then it also has like a body tape that is all the way around it that you kind of got to pry off. All right, so I got the 4 7mm bolts off. What they look like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then you can see it's still pretty stuck on here. So again, your pry tool is your best friend in this project here. And if you have a knife, that works nicely too. Oh, yeah, this part takes a little bit. There's a little bit of effort in here because honestly you got to kind of pry it and then cut a little bit and pry it and cut a little bit. All right, so we got it a little bit started and broken away on this side, and then you can kind of hear it just breaking away. Okay, here's your speaker. It's got a clip right there. Protect this. I'm sure it's worth a lot of money. I'm just gonna stick it in there on the floorboard. All right, so there's 3 bolts or nuts that hold the mirror on, and then a tangled wire that routes in and around. Okay, it's hard to see them in there, but if you do look up inside there, you can see a couple. You're gonna need a 10mm ratcheting wrench, and if it has the swivel head on it, that's even better. And then a wrench with a 10mm socket on it, and a long extension. Okay. Alright, so I got 2 of them out, but if you're just a single individual by yourself doing this, you're going to need something to kind of hold the mirror in place as you're working. And so what all you generally do is use some masking tape. Doesn't seem like much. Alright, so you're going to want to do some stuff like this. Honestly, tape the mirror in place. That's your friend that you wouldn't have masking tape. I use 3M. Brought to you by Carl Shooter. Alright, so again, I made a little tape friend right here out of masking tape to hold the mirror while I take off the last bolt. But again, before I take off the last bolt, I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to go at this part here and just kind of cut there to release it. It's better than just ripping it off, because it keeps it in its place. And you can use it again. Put that right there. All right, so the whole point of taking the speaker off again was to access, there's 3 10mm bolts that hold on the mirror. Okay, and then a series of wires and stuff that you got to do. But we'll start with that. One of them you can see right there. The rest of them you kind of just gonna have to stick your head in there to see that. And to take these off, honestly, you're gonna need a combination of these 2 tools. Okay, you're gonna need one of these set up, and you're gonna need a ratcheting 10mm. And I only say that because the other ones are angled. So you can get the one with this, but the other ones being angled, you can't get those off. And they take forever too, so we'll fast forward through that part. So I got the last nut out here. I came to this side and removed some of the tape. But essentially, you want to make sure that the wire, you're trying to feed that up as you're pulling it out, because you will get hung up. So you're gonna take it out. Let's go slow again. There's that out of that. Just reach in here and just kind of help move this wire where it needs to go. There's 1 clip that's out. There's 2, 3. There's your grommet. And there's the cord. So I leave the bottom one in. This one right here. That's my last one before I go and pull it, because I can reach that one with the socket. And the other 2 is what you're going to need the ratchet wrench for. But there you go. There's your mirror. Take it off. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions, throw it in the comments.